Alright, so let's start. Welcome to the meeting with Jussi Koskela, the creator of Deluxe Ski Jump. Yeah, okay, let's...
Dzień dobry.
Yeah, I'll be your host and I'll ask some questions to Jussi written down, and then we will give the mic over to you. You probably have a lot of questions to ask, probably more interesting than my own. So, okay, so that's it. Let's begin. Okay, first of all, let's tell us some basic info about yourself and your road to the Deluxe Ski Jump and what you did before you decided to change the world and create a game.
So right now I am 45 years old, and when I created Deluxe Ski Jump I was 19 years old. I had just graduated from high school. I had 3 months of free time before joining military service, and I didn't have any summer job at that time. And I had done some small games before Deluxe Ski Jump. For example, a top-down racing game and a Tetris clone, but none of them had been too popular, to say. And why did I create a ski jumping game? Of course, ski jumping was at that time really popular in Finland, and I was also very interested in it, and physics was interesting in high school, and it was kind of way to experiment what you had learned. And my plan was just to create a nice ski jumping game, and that's all.
Did you make it? How did you come up with the physics engine? Because physics is very well received in DSJ. And how did you come up? Did you make any research about how physics works in ski jumping? Did you do it, or did you just?
For Deluxe Ski Jump 1 and 2, the retro game, the physics are quite basic high school physics. So for that I didn't have to do any extra research. So it's basic dynamics. Maybe for the air resistance you had to come up with something special.
Yeah, well, I meant mostly been the wind physics, because this is not something that's common knowledge.
I think
knows a bit about physics, but not necessarily like resistance or drag and wind.
I think for that I was just basically experimenting with paper. That if I move paper in the air, how does it change? Is it like this or like this, and in different positions, and from that I concluded some formulas that I could use for the game. But for the later Deluxe Ski Jump games, like the 3 and 4, the physics are much more complex. And for the third game, I wrote my own rigid body dynamics engine. And but for the latest one, I have been using open dynamics engine. And at that point, the mathematics and physics was too complex to me, so it was better to rely on other physics engine.
And what tools did you use? What language would you use? Mostly mean the retro versions, so 1 and 2.
Yeah, for the first one I used Turbo Pascal.
Ooh.
And also some assembler code for the graphics, so that everything will run fluently. And the fun fact is that the Deluxe Ski Jump that I converted for the mobile platform, it's still based on exactly the same code base as the DOS game. So I compile Pascal code for Android and iOS, and I don't think there are so many game developers who write mobile games in Pascal.
And were you a big ski jumping fan before? Did this influence the decision, or to make a ski jumping game, or was it something else?
I did watch ski jumping whenever it came on TV before creating this Deluxe Ski Jump. So, but I think I never had visited a real ski jumping competition, even if Lahti is quite close to my home. But that was something I didn't do before.
Also, there's a video of you attempting a ski jump, right? circulating.
Yeah, there is a friend of mine who was from Austria. He was studying at the same university, and he was into ski jumping, and he knew people at the local hill in Helsinki, and I kind of went there to watch him do the ski jumping, but somehow the people there lured me into trying the ski jumping myself, and of course I thought that it might be nice to like add a video of this on the website, so I kind of saw the marketing potential in it, but I didn't tell my mother in advance when going to jump.
As you know, this game was extremely well received in Poland, and did you ever expect it to have such immense impact on Polish audience, and how it looks in comparison in other countries?
It has been really like surprise what happened after Adam Mavish success.
Also, you know, this is the ski jump is not the correct name of this game. This game
Mavish.
is called Mavish.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Let's play Mavish.
Yes, I have heard that, so I must be really thankful to Adam Mavish for being such a great ski jumper, because I wouldn't be here talking about the game now without him.
That's right.
And of course the game was quite popular also at first in Finland. When I left for the military service, I sent the demo version to a couple of magazines in Finland, and they had these bulletin board systems that you used modem to call directly and download. Very few had internet access at that time, so these BBS systems were used to download the game, and the game was the most popular like download in these BBS systems, even before there had been any like article or info about it on the magazines. So the word of mouth was really strong on this game, and also in Norway and Slovenia and Austria it was relatively popular. But the difference is that in these countries it was popular for few years, and maybe after each big release maybe some popularity, but Poland is really the only country where the popularity goes on from year to year.
That's true. Why do you think it is? Why is it so popular? I know, I can understand that it was popular when Adam Mavish was on the top, and that's understandable. And it hit exactly at the right moment. I remember this. I was in a university, so I never really played this, but I remember this phenomenon. I remember kids smuggling this game into high school computer lessons, and because it was small, it was easily smuggleable. So it was easy to bring in on a floppy disk and just play it. So it hit all the right notes, right? Small, easy to play, easy to learn, and at exactly the right moment that Mavish was on the top. So I think it's a combination of all of this. When did you first learn it's such a good phenomenon? And what was your reaction? Because I'm really curious about this. How did you react?
I think it was little by little, because as you know, piracy has been quite a big thing in Poland for a long time. So many players played, but only few paid. So basically, I learned some knowledge that there are lots of people playing, but like it didn't convert into sales, and only few contacted me. So it was kind of secret how many people are playing. I heard stories that in every school there are like competitions in which every student takes part, and it sounded quite like astonishing to me.
I invented even on one part competition on the shortest jump and on the most funny jump, where you have to fall and
yes.
You still continue the series, right? There were further iterations about after 2.1. Could you tell us more about this? How you worked on the series in the later years?
after finishing Deluxe Ski Jump 2, I started studying computer science. So the first game was completely like self-learned things that I hadn't studied any like computer programming or anything like that. But then I started studying computer science at university, and I never had any summer job while studying. So I was basically creating these Deluxe Ski Jump games during the summers and also maybe during the study times during night and so on. And yes, what was yeah, for Deluxe Ski Jump 3 it was Windows game, so I had to learn lots of new things. Deluxe Ski Jump 4 is kind of a successor for Deluxe Ski Jump 3, and it of course it changes a lot, but there is also a common code base that is from Deluxe Ski Jump 3. So even nowadays, when I create updates for Deluxe Ski Jump 4, I sometimes find files that haven't been changed in 2005. So I have to like rework on some really old code. And lately I have been doing still some updates to Deluxe Ski Jump 4, and right now I'm adding some new offline game features so that there are different kind of competition modes, and you can compete in raw era style competition and super teams competition, which is a new addition to ski jumping, and also like ski jumping world championships mode and so on.
And it's still only you working on the game, right? There's no team.
Yeah, it's still me. And the funny thing is also, of course, that many people think that MediaMod is a big company, and
it sounds big on MediaMod.
MediaMod, yes, and I very often get email that they like, dear MediaMod team, blah blah blah. Can you forward this to Mr. Jussi? It's weird.
You made the right impression. It's all about the impression that you make. So.
Yeah, and also I'm nowadays only part-time working on this, so I have also another programming related work.
I know you've been to Poland multiple times, and I think you've even attended some tournaments. What do you think about the community of TSJ in Poland?
The atmosphere is really great. People are so supportive to each other, and there are many people who I have seen in many tournaments already. So it's nice when people are like touring Poland to different Deluxe Ski Jump tournaments.
Putting some new pins in the map. Right?
Yeah, I have been talking to my friends that the Deluxe Ski Jump tour Poland. That I'm going again on it, and yeah. Sorry, I lost a bit about the thought.
Yeah, I think it's an easy way to judge how immensely popular this game is in Poland is to look at Wikipedia and the various languages that it has. There's one screen in Finnish, about 3 or 4 lines in Slovak, I think, and like 4 screens in Polish. So it's this is just about how popular this game is still.
And nowadays, from my customers, about 90% come of all customers come from Poland. Mm-hmm. So it's really I think I wouldn't be creating this game anymore, or at least it wouldn't be like financially like reasonable if there were not so many Polish fans of the game.
Okay, I think that's enough for me. It's been like 15 minutes, so I think it's time to give the mic over to you and see if you have any questions. Please.
Have you met Adam Małysz?
I have seen Adam Małysz, but I haven't shaken his hand yet.
Oh, okay.
He was supposed to be at some event, but he had some like problems with the schedule, so I haven't met him. I saw him when Janne Ahonen was first time like having his farewell competition, and there were a lot of different ski jumpers there, and Adam Małysz was there. Of course, Janne didn't stop at that occasion. A few times, even after that.
I have a question about what's your feelings about first reaction about the modders from Poland interesting to help you with Deluxe Ski Jumping for modding about Gorishek Bros.
The story was that they managed to themselves hack the game so that they were able to do new hills for the game, and they were a bit worried that how should they approach me, that maybe Jussi will get angry because they have been doing naughty things with the game like in secrecy, but I thought that it would be like possibility to like for like a rebirth of the game, because I have been already almost like abandoned the game, and they showed me some of their hills which were like really good quality, even much better than my own. So and I was really surprised that they had been like able to create these hills, because my like the way how I did the hills was quite like ancient, writing XML and the format was proprietary, and so they had truly lots of skills, and we like discussed about it and came up with the idea that maybe we could add official support for these new hills and try what happens. And of course the popularity of the game went like exponentially up after this was introduced.
Yeah, and Poland has some excellent programmers and a dedicated community, so maybe that's the way to move the game forward.
Yes, and they have also created their own like hill modding tools. I always used just Notepad to write XML, so it was really like ancient way of doing things, but they have written their own tools which will make creating the hills much easier than it ever was for me. So lots of great talent.
I have a question. Who translates the old games to Polish?
It was always the fans of the game. I don't remember all the names because from time to time they changed and earlier today I remembered one, but right now I can't remember the name.
Do you have any long-term plans for the future of Deluxe Ski Jump? Maybe fifth version, or I don't know, some more improvements?
Usually I don't plan things that far away. I just do things, and maybe at this point it's most likely that I keep doing smaller updates to the current one, because the time that you have to invest on a new game, it gets bigger and bigger for each iteration, because Deluxe Ski Jump 4 is already quite a big and advanced game. So if I wanted to do something still, if I want to level up it to the next level, then it may take. I may be retired before I've been finished, because I'm not the fastest person to implement things. I must admit that.
I have a second question about updates, and I have a question. Sorry, did you will add new styles to game in version 4, like a classical style or age style in modern from classical V style?
That has been proposed a few times, but I think the biggest problem is that adjusting the physics so that everything works like that believable. It takes lots of time. For example, for Deluxe Ski Jump 4, I think I spent 3 months of full working time to make the physics and the jumping what it is currently. And it's really easy. If you change one thing, then the whole experience may be ruined. And so it's just lots of tweaking and tuning so that the game is like, it's not too easy, it looks realistic, and so that the learning curve is about correct. So adding a new style would require lots of work, and in fact I know that some modders have changed the jumping style to classic one, and as an example, the current air resistance model is such that you can jump further with classical style than with B style. So it would require lots of tuning to make everything work as expected for different kind of jumping styles.
Anyone else?
Okay. Do you have any favorite ski jumper, like all-time favorite?
Yeah, I think Janne Ahonen. He's not actively jumping, and I say actively because in March I was visiting the Lahti Ski Jumping World Cup, and between the round 1 and 2, Janne Ahonen was competing with Toni Nieminen there, and he actually jumped still pretty well, even if I think he's 46 or 47 now. But Janne Ahonen has been my favorite. Of course, I like the Polish ones, and I keep thumbs up also for them. Not because it affects my sales, but but believe me or not, there is a big correlation between if a Polish person wins the competition or if they are like not in top 10. I can usually see it in the sales.
Have you been inspired by some real heels during the process of creation of heels for the Deluxe Ski Jump?
For Deluxe Ski Jump, for the original ones, they were
for the original.
They were really like imaginary, and it's for somebody I said that it's controlled randomness. So there are about 40 or so parameters that I adjust to create the hill. So I was basically just picking up numbers, lottery, and checking out how the hill looks and works. And if it didn't work, then I adjusted some parameter and try to create hills that are like different enough between each others. So, yeah. Or maybe the only like thing that I could say that maybe the Slovenia was inspired by Planica, but other than that, and also of course there was for this computer Świat. Computer Świat. There were these maybe Szczecin or something like Czyrk. Yeah, that they were inspired. And they were not even close to the real ones, but maybe the key points were correct and some resemblance, but otherwise I would say that they are completely imaginary hills.
Okay. Do you play any competition just to get ideas?
In Deluxe Ski Jump 4, I take part into. We have toured the Deluxe Ski Jump each year, and it has been continuing for, I think it was already 14th or 15th. Does somebody remember? Anyway, it has been a long tradition that we have a weekly like competition that each day has different kind of theme and the scores count up. I take part into those, but usually I'm one of the worst players there, so not really much to tell about them. In Deluxe Ski Jump 3 I used to be better, and I was even able to sometimes maybe win a competition, but not in the other
So there is no secret cheat code for you.
No. And also, many people think that because I'm the creator of the game, I should know how to jump perfectly. But since it's physics based, then it's the physics that decides what happens. And for example, this gibbon style, I never thought that people would use something like that. And also today we saw very different kinds of styles. For example, there was this kind of maybe gibbonish style that you first pull down really quickly and then up, and you get some extra height.
Yeah.
And that's some things that I never planned to include in the game, but the smart players were able to like find out that if you do this kind of trick, then for some reason the physics work a bit different. Of course, I know the reason is that because if you go lower, then the force against the ski jumper is lower, and then you don't lose the like the horizontal speed. But I never like planned anything of any of these things in advance.
And what was the biggest challenge on programming this? Was it the physics or the graphics? Anything else?
It depends on which Deluxe Ski Jump game we are talking about.
I think we are mostly talking about
The first one, because for the first one, I would say that it was the schedule, because I really had. If it was late, then it would be 1 year late. So the schedule was but otherwise I think the process of implementing the game was really like fluent, and because I had already prior knowledge and I had been doing some other small games, so I could use some snippets from the old game, and at least I don't remember anything that was like really difficult in it.
What have you played any winter games before creating?
I played on C64 the winter games.
The famous one.
It had ski jumping, but it was quite difficult and maybe not so like precise like model of ski jumping, and even the rules were a bit different.
And maybe there was a plan to make also other winter games.
Yeah.
By you.
No. Well, many people have asked if I would do Nordic combined, but I have never been able to like come up an idea how to implement the skiing part interestingly. I like skiing myself, but being a virtual skier is not so interesting as being a virtual ski jumper. And also I had played ski jumping international by Ville Körönen, also from Finland. But I thought that I could do a bit better. And also maybe the mouse controlling was something that I thought that would work better than keyboard on a game like this.
Do you play any non-winter related games for fun?
I'm not playing that much computer games currently. Of course, every now and then I buy some game and try to finish it. But for example, games that I have been interested in, I can say Civilization 5. I played a lot of that. Witcher is from Poland. I have finished Witcher 3. What else? Skyrim. I finished that. But that kind of games. But I don't play it that much. I'm more into board games right now.
Oh.
So I actually I play weekly with a group of friends who I have been playing since the university times with them. So almost weekly we gather either online or offline and play some board games.
And maybe real RPGs, role-playing games, talking games?
As a kid, I played Middle Earth.
Oh my god.
My brother was the game master and
It's a very hard game.
Is it the one that you have to perform a role
Yes.
just to get out of bed or something?
Yes, it's very complicated. It's the most complicated game on ever created.
I'm not sure if they have many versions, but I'm not sure about the English translation of the name. But probably it would be called Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And yeah, since we are at the retro gaming event, do you have any gaming-related memories from the childhood? What games do you find?
My first game.
Defining for you?
Okay, yeah, Digger. There is the popcorn song in the intro, and you eat the diamonds. And do you remember Digger? I don't know. Digger.
The game with which you are pumping opponents and they blow up?
And there are
That's Digger.
Digger.
But Digger was one of the first games, and the funny story is that I played Digger at least half a year before I accidentally noticed that you can also shoot in the game. So for half a year I was having fun just by running away from the opponents, and you could also kill them by dropping a money bag over them. So I was playing the game the hard way, and suddenly somebody pressed F1 to shoot, and hey, what's that?
What computer was that on?
PC. I have been always a PC guy. My father had to buy a PC for his work, and it was 1988, I think.
I think this is
IBM PS2. There was a hard disk, 20 megabytes, 8 megahertz, MCGA graphics, and the games were not good on it. C64, even if it was slower, and Amiga, they were really much better in games.
Much better at game.
And other games that I remember, Decathlon I think it was by Microsoft. Decathlon.
Yeah.
And then there was a game called Cat, Paratrooper, where you shoot planes. What else do I remember? I think those were the first games that I have ever played.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the things that is amazing about these old games and the old times, that you could play a game and then after 6 months discover that you were doing it wrong. It's something very basic that you have missed.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that doesn't really happen these days, because you have an internet and communities, and you can reach out to anyone or ask Google or something. But I think that's unique to these times, that you could discover something even years later that you were doing something wrong or missing something. So that's part of the charm, I think.
Yes. My friend had a C64, so whenever I wanted to play better games, I went to him to play with the C64.
Since you're Finnish, I just need to ask you about other Finnish and quite successful game developer firm. And my question is, are you familiar with games by Remedy Games?
I know them, but I haven't actually. I don't think I have played any of them.
Really? None? Even Max Payne?
No, I haven't played it. Yes, I know. I think I know almost all their games, but I haven't played. I think I haven't played any of. I'm not that much of a gamer. I create games.
Thanks.
Do you believe that Finnish ski jumping will resurrect in the non-specific future? Now it's the time when Finnish ski jumpers are not in the top of the world. But do you believe that that it never happened.
I think there is hope. For example, in Lahti, there was this new ski jumper who, in his first got World Cup points from the first competition, and also we had a lot of audience on the main event. Last year, I was visiting also the ski jumping World Cup in Lahti, and I think it was on Sunday, which is not usually that good day, but it was maybe 1,000 people watching at ski jumping, and half of them left after the first round, which was really sad. I, by the way, clapped Norigi Kasai's hand on that day, and he said "Kiitos," thanks to me in Finnish language. So really, he was the reason that I went there. But this year, it was. I think they said it was 30,000 people in total, and most of them also came to see ski jumping. So it always goes hand in hand, the popularity among the audience and how well the ski jumpers do. And it's a complex formula. You need money to train, and if you are doing well, then you get sponsors, and then also the audience gets interested, and if there's lots of audience, then the sponsors get interested, and so it's like a.
What's your favorite jump? 254 and half, 291, or something else jump?
You mean the longest ones?
Yeah, or other else.
I have to maybe be a bit Finn now and say that the jump where Ahonen was jumping to 40.
Yeah.
And
He was drunk.
And yeah, not drunk, but he had hangover.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
He was legendary.
Yeah, in his book he wrote that they had been drinking like a
Amazing.
lots.
From amazing competition.
Yeah, but I would say that for some reason that jump is still very memorable for me, even if it was like crashed. But and at that time we didn't know that he had hangover.
Yeah, I think there was a question over here. Right? No.
So maybe any board game recommendations?
Oh.
Nowadays I have been playing on board game arena. For some reason we used to mostly before COVID we used to gather at somebody's home and play very different board games, even virtual ones. But during the COVID of course it was not possible or recommended, so we started playing on computer platform, and the computer platform doesn't work so well for more complex board games. So because on screen it's difficult to see the whole picture, what's happening and what the other players are doing. So we have had to like pick up a bit simpler board games. And lately, for example, okay, Carcassonne is really easy to see the whole picture on computer screen. What?
Was there an idea to create a board game, Deluxe Ski Jump board game version?
I think there is a board game about ski jumping. Maybe made by a Polish company, I would say, but it's not. Doesn't have a
brand. It doesn't have
at least it doesn't have the Deluxe Ski Jump license or anything like that. But I think there is some board game about ski jumping.
I think I saw it once. Maybe it's the same one. Maybe it's different. Also, I'm not sure if it was something that was released in any way or something that someone just made out of cardboard. But I remember it's having a little ski jumper out of paper, and you have to just push it in, and maybe aim at the exact line. But I'm not sure. It sounds homemade, but maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember the details how it looked like, but I think there is one.
Deluxe Ski Jump was obviously a big phenomenon in Poland, but we have many such phenomena also. For example, Gothic or I don't know, Metin 2 or Tibia even. And do you think that, and these days you don't really see such things happening anymore, right? I think. So my question is, I guess, do you think that such phenomenon as Deluxe Ski Jump could happen again?
That's a good question. I've never predicted Deluxe Ski Jump phenomenon, so I'm not really sure.
All right.
It requires all the stars in right positions for such a phenomenon to happen.
Right.
And I must say that I have been really lucky to of course the game is pretty good, but many good games don't become a phenomenon. You need lots of luck. And I know that many indie developers do much better games than I do, but they may sell like 1,000 or 100 copies. So it's like controlling. Even if you put lots of money in advertisements, you cannot make phenomena. So it's really unpredictable how phenomena can like be created or how they form up.
Thank you.
Yeah, also I think the world is slightly different these days. Everything happens much faster, so the phenomenon, things come and go, and some things don't even have enough time to become phenomenon.
Yeah.
It was a different time, and like I said before, it hit all the right notes.
For example, if you think Flappy Bird.
Sure. Yeah, it was. For 10 seconds.
Everybody knows Flappy Bird, but who comes to retro event to play Flappy Bird? Nobody.
And there's some implementation of all the computers.
Okay.
Played on C64. That's true. Yeah, that was a question.
Do you like Łódź? How do you find the city?
No, I didn't hear because
About the city.
the city. Yeah. I have been here since Wednesday, and it has been. There is so much to see. Of course, the city looks a bit rough on some sides, but for example, the murals, they are really interesting. I have been visiting museums. I have at least 100 photos from the city already, and also to me, even this rough side is like it can be beautiful.
It's similar to Tampere, I think.
Yeah.
The same history.
Yes.
Tampere.
Yes. And the red tile buildings, and of course Tampere, the buildings in Tampere, they have been kept in quite good condition. So that's a bit different, but it has been a joy to be here, and one thing that was really like joyful for me was to see this Mish Usetek, because Mish Usetek is really popular in Finland. Everybody knows. When I see the statue, I had to take a picture of it, and I posted it to my co-workers, and I posted it to my friends and my brother, and everybody was like joyful about this. And, hey, the best part of it's part of a Finnish like children's program. That every program has Mish Usetek.
The same as Muminki.
Yeah.
Have you seen maybe we have a Polish version of Muminki cartoon.
Yeah, that's
it was a little dark one.
Okay, I haven't seen that.
Wait till you see Buka. You will not be able to see that. I remember.
And I also know that Mish Usetek, there is a meme about the Finnish like intro song. But I'm not going to say the word now.
Yeah, people can look it up. Also do the Polish translation.
about murals, will you see a mural about a girl from Rivia in Piotrkowska?
Yesterday I was visiting the comic exhibition, and people out there told me that there is this mural of the Witcher, and I was yesterday already like walking home, and then I came up. Okay, I still have to check where it is, and I actually turned around and walked there and took some photos before returning. Really nice looking and worth seeing. I think I have about 15,000 to 20,000 steps for each day visiting here, so I have been looking around. And also I visited a few museums, this city museum of podczas near manufactura.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Herbst Parish in south, and yesterday the comic exhibition and the science and engineering exhibition at EC1. And it was also really interesting because in my second programming job I do some software for power factories, so it was my first time being inside an ex or existing power factory.
So there was a time that Deluxe Ski Jump was your only job, or you always had something? You always like being attracted to this like part-time job, the Deluxe Ski Jump, or it was like your first source of
income?
During the studies I funded my life with the ski jumping game, and after graduating I think I was working for the ski jumping game maybe about 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then the sales went down, and it was like it was not quite funding my life, so I started working in another company, and for a few years Deluxe Ski Jump was on the background, and I didn't do much to it. But after this custom hills possibility, it has been still possible to fund my life with it. But I still also work for the other company, and I try somehow to balance between those tasks.
Which Finnish city is similar to Łódź?
Yeah, Tampere is pretty, I think, because Tampere has a background in cotton industry and textile industry, and many of the buildings are
That big.
the industrial buildings are quite similar.
One question: as you are Finnish, and as we know, in Finland there is the most metal bands per capita. Do you listen to metal, and if yes, what bands?
It depends on the mood. I listen quite a lot of different kinds of music, but Nightwish is good. The old Nightwish I prefer, from Tarja Turunen time, and other than that, quite like a little bit of all of them. But it depends on what I'm doing. I do like also heavier music. But if you're programming, it depends very much what you do. If I go sporting, then maybe some disco style or techno style, and if I have to program something a bit monotonous, then it can be heavy metal. And
And from which city do you come from?
I come from Espoo. I live now in Espoo. It's next to Helsinki. And originally I live 30 kilometers. I was born in Kerava, which is 30 kilometers from Helsinki.
And a lot of people in Finland have got Swedish roots, but I suppose from your name, I suppose you're Finnish, yeah? You're not.
Yeah, yes, Koskela is very Finnish. Even there is a very classic book that has my full name on it, and and people usually like ask me if I have something to do about this person in the book.
A question. So let's go back for a quick moment to the video games industry. Today's previous meeting was about running classical games through cloud solutions. So I'm wondering, first of all, what do you think about the whole idea? And secondly, do you find that as an opportunity for your title, the ski jump?
What do you prefer?
As the previous prelegant said, it might be a proper way to prevent classical titles for the next generations and prevent from oblivion, especially when you, as a way to save the source code.
Yes. Without knowing more about the context, it's a bit difficult to comment, but generally I would say that it is worth preserving games for new generations. Of course, there is some kind of discussion about if the old games steal from the new independent developers, because it's difficult to break through if there are so many old games that people still play. So it's kind of balancing. But for example, to me, this mobile version of Deluxe Ski Jump was kind of way to introduce the original game for new audience, and because the DOS version it's quite difficult nowadays even to get running.
I want to thank you for that mobile version. It's a very faithful board and it's as fun to play as the original.
Yeah, it was quite close that the controls would be totally different, because originally I was just thinking about swiping, that you swipe and adjust the body angle with that. And my friend came up with the idea that you have to tilt the phone. And I think it makes it so interesting and quite close to the original one, because there is this analog way of controlling it.
What the version of Deluxe Ski Jumping, it's hard to work, not including mobile version.
The mobile version was actually it was quite easy.
But what version is hard to work? Second, DSJ2, DSJ3 or DSJ4?
I would say maybe 4. To me, yeah.
Questions. Your popularity among game dev or gamers, did you get any impact from this making this game in your life? Like, for example, outside of gamers, maybe getting easier to get a job in programming industry or?
Right now, my other job is I'm employed by a friend of mine. So, but maybe he knew about my skills because of the game, but I wouldn't say that it has impacted my life that much. Of course, whenever I go to business meeting, at some point somebody reveals that, hey, this guy has made the ski jumping game, and then we have to pause the actual business meeting for 5 minutes and discuss about the ski jumping game. So it's kind of icebreaker for this kind of situations.
I don't know your place in the in the game in 4 version is similar Easter egg or something other is
yes,
Easter egg.
Yes, it's me. Thousands of Jussis in the audience, and also the judge looks like me. And
this is an Easter egg.
Yes, it's correct. And if you fly the camera to the judge, you will see that I'm not wearing shoes or socks, so I'm barefoot in the judge tower.
And the face of ski jumper?
Yes, he is also.
Is your face?
Yes.
This is the second Easter egg.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not because I love myself, but because maybe I didn't want to like find any other volunteer to. Maybe somebody of you would have volunteered, but I tried to just look somewhat like neutral, and that was the easiest solution. And I could tell one story how the audience was, how I implemented it, because Deluxe Ski Jump games are really homegrown, so I have quite simple ways of doing things. So I had to have like a photo of me from all directions, and I was at home working alone, so there was nobody to take photos of me. So I piled up some furniture and put a camera there, and then I needed a photo of me from all directions so that my position is exactly the same, because it's like a bitmap that depends on the camera angle, it chooses the correct one. And I took office chair and removed the back support from it, and then I put the office chair on floor. Then I took I went to nearest shop and bought blue blankets and used tape to attach it to the walls, and then I climbed up on the office chair. That may be a bit dangerous. Don't do it at home. And then I pushed like a bit and started rotating around, standing on the office chair. So that's one example of how indie developer like improvises to do things the easy way or the hard way.
Okay, I think we are running out of time. I already see John here outside taking pictures. So yeah, I'd like to thank you all for coming, and of course thank you, Jussi, for giving us the amazing game.
Thank you.